Hello, Belle. Hello, guests. Welcome back to The Real Deal
STL Number Crunch Edition,
where we are going to get to the nitty-gritty of some numbers. Because you actually called me and said, hey, do you have numbers?
Yeah, it's a huge benefit to me as a realtor to have a lender who can move money around. When someone has a ton of equity in the home they're selling, or they have some money to put down, you can push these dollars around to make more sense. See what I did there? That was smart. Yeah. So, seen other realtors too commenting like, hey, how come, my lender's not talking to my client about, different things, buy downs.
Ooh, buy downs is huge.
I know. Credits. Just various things. There's things that can be done to make a payment work for somebody and at the same time, use the equity or the money they have.
Other lenders, keep doing what you do, because I got you.
I know. You got to have a creative lender supporting your clients. Like, if every mortgage company did the same thing, we'd only have one. Right. There's a reason that there's more.
But it also, it ties a lot into my background, because my background for over 20 years was ops. So I was always in files, moving monies around, structuring, finding money. I had loan officers constantly be sending me deals that weren't mine to say, hey, go scrub these bank statements and find me some money.
Yeah.
Go restructure this 28 different ways and find out which way works and which way is the betterment for the borrower.
Yeah. And which is it a short game? Is it a long game? It depends. Everybody's got a different plan happening.
And it depends on how fast people can work.
Yeah.
So
I have a client, and yes, they have a lot of equity built up in the home. Inflation has totally pushed the sale price of that home up to the point where there's money to play with. Not like cash right now. The money's in the home. But to get to the next one and to maybe keep payment the same when you're selling a house that had a 3.5 interest rate, and now, we're a little bit higher than that now. How can we do this, use that equity, and keep payment in control?
Okay, so there is a piece of technology on the mortgage side. Some companies have it, some companies don't. And you can structure your loan and give 3 to 4 other possibility options, but you can change it. That way they're seeing all the costs, everything up front, and they're getting to decide, hey, I like how that looks. Can we tweak it a little? And as their agent, I can send it to you also, with their permission, of course, send it to you also so you can take a look. Yeah. Now give me your opinion on what you thought of the link that I sent you.
The link was great. It showed different options. If you put this much down, if your rate was here, and then it showed the breakout of the payment. That's all I want. I don't want to know how you came up with those numbers. That's not my part of the transaction. I just want to see it though, because again, transparency with the client, and the more they feel confident going into it and seeing it, there is no questions then. That's what holds people up is, I don't know for sure, And
this is a borrower who has the utmost trust in you, so they gave permission to me to discuss this information with you.
Yeah. So I want us to really get down to some number crunching so people can see how this works, but I feel like we may need to put some thinking caps on. So I brought you a little something today. I think if we put these on, it's just gonna
help.
Oh, it's definitely gonna help. Because you said I get to be the next one to bring up the podcast theme. So these you might remember from your favorite movie, The Coneheads. Because they're very smart. From out of this world. We'll be right back. Well, I'm back, but where's Melissa? Whoa!
Yeah! What a ride!
Oh, all right. I feel like like, now that we got our thinking caps on, oh, that's smart. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. I need to know just how much this monthly payment could be if we push some equity around.
First, what does this borrower want their payment to be, actually? What is their ideal payment, like in between?
Between 900 and 1,000.
How much would they prefer to get out?
At least 10,000 in pocket. Yes. That's a lot of fields you have there.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that?
And this is just one page.
Is this what you do every day?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, okay. Every day.
Yeah,
on and off all day.
You like it?
I love it. Like the mortgage, a mortgage is a huge warehouse line puzzle. And every time you put a puzzle piece in, it changes the picture. So it's all about trying to figure out how to get to where you want to be. And you don't always get everything you want. Sometimes you will wind up getting the payment and nothing else. Sometimes you will get your funds to close and lined up, but your payment's off a little bit. This specific buyer, we're actually looking at a buy down.
Yes.
Which a buy down, there's several different, there's 3 different temporary buy downs. If it's a 3-2-1 or a 2-1, 3-2-1, it means that even though you lock your interest rate at say 7 and you're not paying for it, if the seller pays for that credit that it costs to get the buy down, the borrower's first year, their interest rate is going to be based on 4%. So it's 3 off. And then the second year will be 2. So, but at 3-2-1 on a conventional loan, the seller has to pay 4.
Okay.
Like a seller credit.
Gotcha.
Which on this deal, we do not have any seller credits.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that part.
Well, this all just came up.
Yeah.
Currently. However, at 2-1, a borrower can pay for, and sometimes it's smarter to pay for the 2-1 buy down than it is to pay the rate down for a 30-year fix.
True. I know. I mean, I feel like back in the day, it was always like, oh, don't you dare take an adjustable rate mortgage because you need to be fixed. But the way things change, and I guess as you get older, you're like, hey, you see the ebb and flows. It's like, why, again, do I lock myself in for 30 years when I may not even live there for 4 years?
Right.
Or
absolutely.
Who knows?
And with the way that the housing industry fluctuates, goes up and down, interest rates and everything else, you always have the option to refi, to do a rate and turn. So even though this borrower might be going into a 2-1 buy down and their interest rate is going to be like 5.125 for the first year, who knows what rates might do. And if in 6 months we can refi her and get her a 5.5 on a 30-year fixed, why not do that?
Yeah.
Instead of waiting.
Is that a service you do as well? You just watch those people's accounts as the months go on? For example,
I am pulling up pricing and interest rates right now based on a 2-1 buy down to see basically what's par. Meaning the borrower's not paying for the interest rate, but they're not going to get any credit for the interest rate either. So, like, basically 7.1, and yes, Belle is sitting behind the camera. 7.125 is par.
Yeah.
You probably get that a little lower, but I won't know at this moment. The buyer would have to pay.
Okay.
So that's actually going to get added on to that number.
Right.
So roughly, she'd be bringing in roughly $94,000.
Okay. This is a huge database. This is why I hire you to do this work, because I don't do that.
You don't hire me. The borrower hires me.
Sure.
By the way, just a snippet, Mr. Borrower or Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you hire, you fire, you are in control. Reminder. Even though this says 7.125, that is how we have to qualify the borrower on the top rate. Because they're going to get, in year 3, they'll get maxed at that 7.125.
That was my question. When you do a buy down, I mean, does it ever go higher than that par, I guess is the number?
Because it's a temporary buy down.
Okay.
Like you're locked in. Your 30-year mortgage is locked in at 7.125.
And I mean,
so worst case scenario in year 3, your rate is 7.125. Even if rates go to 10.
And I mean, we were higher than that at one point.
Oh, we've been higher than that a lot.
Last year though, worst thing.
So the payment based on 7.125, the actual payment's almost $1,300.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go 2 below this.
Okay.
So for the first year, the payment's actually $1,078, $79.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a little bit higher than what she wanted. But again, she has plenty of equity, so we can still adjust that. If, say, and granted, she's a little less than the 10 grand that she wanted out.
I mean, at what point does it fluctuate it enough to really drop?
So typically $10,000 is $50. So if she were to take less money out and put in pocket, then her payment's going to go down.
Yeah.
And again, just because that was 7.125 at par, she could actually pay a little bit of money to get this to go down to say 6.5.
Okay.
But then she's paying this plus the buy down.
Okay.
But then her first year would be 4.5.
But there's still enough equity to push those dollars around, and actually it wouldn't be her coming out of pocket for.
No, she's not coming out of pocket anything. It's just how much is getting eaten up in that equity that she has in the house she's selling.
So this is great for people who've been in homes for maybe 5+ years. The market has just steadily inflated and pushed those sale prices up, and maybe the house could need some updating, but we're so starved for inventory, honestly, like every house will sell. Do more to it, of course, you might get more for it, but if you need to sell and tap that equity that you've been building for years and move on to something smaller or whatever, bigger, I don't know.
Right.
This is a great way to kind of do a lateral move where your payment's still about where you were.
Yes.
So you don't feel like, oh, I can't move and get rid of my 3.5% interest rates. Like, you still can.
There's still ways to do it, but it's not about, it's only about the interest rate because it's about the payment.
Yeah.
But there's ways to adjust that and look at it. And keep in mind, at this point, the funds to close, that's going to fluctuate also.
Yeah.
Because all but essentially one fee, which is our company loan fee, fluctuates, and it's not our fees. It's like title fees, appraisal fee when the appraisal comes in, and we don't know exactly what those fees are until we get the invoice. So that could fluctuate. I always aim a little bit higher. Yeah. Because people are, it's always nicer to go back and go, hey, I'm bringing in $2 grand less than, hey, I need $2 more grand.
Is there a point where a borrower is tapped out at how much they can pay to essentially buy down their?
We are capped at 3% in certain fees. There is a cap, and there is situations, especially on lower loan amounts, like under $100,000, you run into that really quick because you're capped at 3. And that includes that only includes like 1 or 2 fees that we might have.
Well, let's continue playing with this.
Yes.
Because I know we're also kind of watching current rates and daily activity, wherever they come down from. You know where they're coming from. The same place she just got delivered. As we continue progress with pushing numbers around, we will update you in another life form. Ooh.